What is up, Farming family? How y'all doing today? Today, we're checking out the Triple J Jahking 14mm. This is a unibody thermoformed foamed edge paddle. This company has budget valued paddles with all the, technology that the higher end brands are, producing. So this one's unibody, it's thermoformed, it's foamed edge, it's an elongated paddle. It's 14 millimeters. I have a code for them. It's FarmerPB. You get 10% off if you use it. I will get a kickback from that. I'm about to go over the specs next, and then the spin, the power, the pop, twist weight, the swing weight, all that good stuff. But let's get into this. I hope y'all are doing good. All right, let's start with the pop. When it comes to the thinner paddles, when I say thinner, I mean stuff under 16 millimeter. They're generally more poppy than, 16 millimeters. So if you're going from a 16 millimeter paddle, expect for this to have a little more pop than what you're normally, used to playing with, especially if you're using a Gen 1 16 millimeter. But if you're using a Gen 2 16 millimeter, there's definitely still going to be a pop increase. Just be prepared for that. It's not going to be like gearbox, the power elongated or anything like that. Just know there will be an adjustment period if you're going from a 16 millimeter. Now, in terms of power, it is an elongated paddle. The 16 millimeters tend to have a little more weight, around them, which means they're getting more plow through for the most part, or that's what I've noticed when playing with them. This 14 millimeter, it doesn't have crazy plow through. Yes, it's elongated. It will get more, power than all of your hybrid 16 millimeters and 14 millimeters. But if you're wanting this to get the plow through and the driving that your 16 millimeter would have, you need to add a little bit of lead tape to it. It doesn't take a crazy lot, just a little bit on the sides, and it adds a little bit of head heaviness to it for that extra plow through. But even without lead tape, if you choose to go that route, you're not going to have weak drives or anything like that. It's not a weak paddle. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a 14 millimeter. It's got a pop increase compared to most of the paddles people are switching to. So in terms of control, yes, you are going to be giving up some control that you would get with a 16 millimeter, but you're going to get that extra pop and stuff for hand battles and speed ups. So for controllability, you're going to have to concentrate a little bit more. I don't think 75 or 80% of the people are going to have a problem if they switch to this in terms of control. The problem you will have is if you're going from 16 millimeters all the time and then bouncing to this and then going to 16 millimeters. Someone who sticks with a consistent paddle and plays with this, they won't have a hard time controlling it once they hone it in. But just know it's definitely going to be harder than most 16 millimeters that are out there in terms of, being able to control. When it came to the RPM numbers, this thing got 1,937 RPMs. The spin numbers I got on this are really good. They're in the top 4 right now out of all the paddles I've tested, as you can see on the screen. So just know that when you're doing drives or anything with top spin, any slices, chops, anything like that, there's going to be adequate spin. Not going to be a gripe with this paddle. And the one I got, you can just feel the grittiness on the face. I know that's not everything that determines a paddle spin, but it definitely feels very similar to, what Volair uses on their paddle faces. But yeah, it got really good spin. No gripes there whatsoever. The swing weight on this was 111, which means if you use the hybrid shapes or you're, coming from a 60 millimeter hybrid shape, it's in like a 116, 117 swing weight, you can add some lead tape to the sides of this, makes this more stable, also adds to the plow through, and it won't get you out of that, swing weight range that you're used to. This isn't like a 120 plus, swing weight paddle, 14 millimeter that you're going to add lead weight to and make it like 130. No, this is a pretty low swing weight for an elongated paddle. And in terms of weight, it's 7.9 ounces. So it's not, crazy heavy or anything like that either. But I would focus on the swing weight for sure. All right, when it comes to the twist weight was 5.61. Yeah, the twist weight is really low. I didn't find the sweet spot to be that bad. Now, I would add lead tape to the sides to add, stability and help that sweet spot out, because most of the 14 millimeter elongateds are going to have generally around the same area, same number twist weight, and the sweet spots are going to be similar. The 14 millimeter carbon 1X, very, very similar feel in terms of sweet spot. Just know, add tape is going to be added. You have to add lead tape. For the price, this is the biggest upside to the paddle. $100 without a code. That is crazy. You have companies that are charging $220, $240, $260 for paddles of similar makes, to this. So is it worth your money? Literally no point even making this part. Obviously, it's a yes. It's $100 for unibody, thermoform, foamed edge. And it's got, pretty cool graphics on the side. I didn't catch myself hitting this one on the side enough to, make a difference in terms of spin. I'm getting better at hitting the sweet spot, so that didn't really affect me. It might affect, players that are, lower, that are just now coming into the game, that can't hit the middle of the paddle as often. But for majority of the people, that's not going to be a concern. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. I hope y'all are staying safe, having a good day, drinking plenty of water. Peace, y'all.